let's go to some big miss playoff odds. And we're going to start in the AFC. This is NFL, obviously. So let's go.
I grabbed all the tight ones.
Yeah, let's go to tight ones. This is. So I looked at these numbers a little bit, and I did a double take on a few of them, Kelly.
I did too. It's kind of why I decided to include this today, because I thought some of these were interesting.
Yeah. So so these are the tight ones. Buffalo, Kansas City, and Cincinnati, I would imagine, are just ridiculous, overwhelming favorites.
Yes. Yep.
You know what I'm going to say real quick? It's not long enough on the no price for Buffalo at plus 195. But if that price gets a little bit better, that might be worth it on the no because of that division now. Might. Even though Buffalo will probably be a great regular season team again and then get beat in the playoffs. But these are that we just showed. Kelly, how's Jacksonville only minus 190 to make the playoffs?
I swear that was.
How are they only minus 190?
So that was the biggest one that jumped out to me. Okay, let's real quick, regardless of odds.
Yeah.
Let's just go through teams that because like the AFC is crazy, right?
Loaded.
NFC's, this is going to be a little easier practice with.
Yeah.
The AFC, let's go through teams that you and I can hopefully agree on we think are in the playoffs, but maybe we don't already. Buffalo. See, I think they're in.
I think they will make it, but I don't think they're as big of a lock. I don't think they're a lock.
This is great. Okay, Bengals?
Yes, they're assuming Burrow stays healthy, yes.
Chiefs?
Same deal. Mahomes stays healthy, and even if he doesn't, they still might get there.
Do you feel confident including anybody else as you're for sure confident they're in the playoffs?
Yeah, I do. I include Jacksonville.
You include
I include Jacksonville. I think the division behind them, I know people are going to convince themselves that Indianapolis is going to be close to them. They're not. That roster's just not good enough yet. And who knows what you're getting out of Richardson if he starts week one. You could get some really bad play this year from Richardson if he plays right away. I don't think he should start week one. I think they should start Minshew week one, by the way, and bring Richardson in later in the year.
Okay.
And the other two teams just aren't good.
Now, what's the likelihood, though, do you think that the Jags make it into the playoffs without winning the division?
So that's the tricky part.
I don't think there's any way. So I think
it's a very limited. Very limited.
I was leading you into that, sorry, because it gets. Matt Brown and I hit on some of these divisions yesterday, and I think that was the one that was our favorite division bet was the Jags at minus 150. I don't think it's worth paying 40 extra cents for them to make a yes/no to make the playoffs, because I think their only way they're making it is if they win that division. I mean, for them to make the playoffs and not win that division, it means of all those teams that you just talked about, one of them is somehow so good that Jacksonville finishes second in this division and still makes it as a wild card in an incredibly tough AFC.
So the only counter to that is, remember going into Week 18 last year, if Josh Dobbs and the Titans had won, there was still an escape hatch potentially for Jacksonville. It was still there.
Mm-hmm.
If Pittsburgh had lost, Jacksonville would have been in anyway.
Right.
So it may not be as insane as we think. Now, I think it's extraordinarily unlikely with the way that the AFC lines up. But
it's just gotten tougher, though. That's the thing, right?
100%. It's a much better. It was already very good as it was last year. It's a much better conference right now. Looking at the rest of those odds, Kelly, the one that they're. Oh, man. The problem is there's only 7 that can get in.
The point real quick with Jags is me and you both like them to make the playoffs.
Yes.
But would you agree just go bet the division price?
Yeah, I think take the 40 less cents and lay the division in minus 150. I think that's fine because too much has to happen. They're a playoff roster. They are, assuming Rodgers is motivated, which I think he will be. The problem is they have a brutal schedule, even though they have a last-place schedule. And I think Kelly, this may sound ridiculous, but the sequencing of their schedule is going to be important. It's going to be important.
How do you mean?
They need the soft part of it to be early as opposed to late. Now, the thing is with them last year, we thought the soft part was late, and we thought the hard part was early. And it ended up being totally reversed, where the schedule was harder at the end. Granted, the Jets didn't score a touchdown the last 3 weeks of the season. And the early part of the schedule, they were able to handle very well. I mean, if you told me they were 6-3 going into the bye last year, I thought, oh, they might actually make the playoffs, and that's what they were. And they, of course, go 7-10. I think they do make it, but I don't want to lay minus 130. The rest of this board,
I'm with you on that one. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think they make it, but I'm not. I'm not
confident enough to lay it.
Me either.
Baltimore, same deal.
And
I don't want to lay it. I don't want to lay a price with Baltimore making the playoffs.
I think this is the same thing. I'll probably include the Ravens with this too, Jeff. Where it's look, like we bring this up every year. There is no reason you need to fire on this before the season starts, especially when we don't know the schedule yet. Like you're talking about, right, Jeff? Like if the Jets get loaded up with a tough part of their front schedule, okay, maybe you want to bet them to make the playoffs, so you get a much better price after they get through that portion of the schedule.
Yeah, hey, look, you're going to get better prices on a lot of these teams in the middle of the season.
Well, I think almost everybody in the AFC East you can say that about, right?
Yeah.
Because that division is going to be tough.
Kelly, I think Miami's winning the AFC East if Tua stays healthy.
Well, you know what? Clearly, you hate Buffalo. I don't hate Buffalo as much as you. You like the blanket statement I just put on it. You hate Buffalo. Clearly, I don't hate them as much as you do. But I think the Dolphins are way more live than what I don't know. People are seemingly talking.
The Dolphins should be the second favorite in the division, not the Jets.
Wow. Okay. I agree, Jeff.
I get why the Jets are shorter. I get it. You have a fan base that is going to bet them blindly. I have actually no Jet futures, thankfully, as of right now. But Miami, if Tua stays healthy, and now at least they have Mike White, who Mike White's better than Teddy Bridgewater at that point of his career, and he's clearly better than Skylar Thompson. So Miami might be able to withstand a multiple game Tua absence a little bit better than they did last year. But minus 120 to make the playoffs, 3-1 or so to win the division is pretty juicy on the Dolphins if they continue to go up from what they were last year. The Chargers, I don't know what to do with them. You have Justin Herbert. You probably shouldn't be a coin flip to make the playoffs with Justin Herbert. But that is going to come down to, is Kellen Moore as good as some think he is as an offensive coordinator? Well, and was Joe Lombardi as bad as everyone thought he was?
And can these wide receivers stay healthy, right?
Well, they have a lot of them now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly, yeah. Is Austin Eckler going to be there, I guess?
Yes, he will be.
I think he was too. But
he will be.
That's a team that I think I just got to see it first. Like I'm not willing to bet on it happening until I see them actually in the playoffs, in the mix with this loaded AFC as it is. So I think that's an easy one for me to pass on.
If you made me go 7 playoff teams right now, Pittsburgh is a juicy price, but I don't think I can get there yet.
Nope, they're not making it.
That's one of those where they could get off to a bad start and you get a big-time price if you wanted to in the middle of the season.
I'm not betting the no. I'm not betting the no now, Jeff, but I might be betting the no at some point.
If they get a good price, if they get off to a good start, you can go the other way and bet it at a better price.
I'm also not trying to hate on the Steelers too much. I think they'll be a slightly better team than they were last year, but that division's loaded. You've got Lamar coming back now. I mean, who knows what you're going to get out of Deshaun Watson in a full season with the Browns?
Last place.
I think it's really tough to ask the Steelers to be any better than they were last year, which they were finished 9-8.
If you made me pick the 7 playoff teams right now, Kelly in the AFC.
Yeah, rapid fire. Let's go.
Buffalo, Miami, New York, Cincinnati, Jacksonville, Kansas City, and the Chargers. Those would be the 7. That's what I would have.
Okay.
Where Baltimore's the one that slides out.
I have the Ravens in there. I don't know who I'd replace them with, though. Probably the Chargers.
It's to me, the Chargers are the most complexing of them all. Because you have the top 5 quarterback, you have a bad head coach, but you clearly improved at offensive coordinator. Is that improvement enough to vault the Chargers? It very well may be when it's all said and done.
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.